Hi, it's Lipstick Gal. Thank you so much for watching today. I'm just gonna get ready and I don't really have a plan. Is that a bad thing? I should have a plan, shouldn't I? I always start with my corrector. This is so funny. I am openly admitting that I'm pre-filming because I start work soon. I got a job, part-time job, and I don't know what my schedule is going to be like, and I want to make sure I'm still putting up my regular schedule on YouTube, but I don't I don't know. This is everything is still what it used to be. Everything hasn't changed yet, but funny thing is, my family has been noticing that I'm like a little bit more stressed. Like there's been a lot of prep that goes into me going back to work. My girl's like, "Mommy, are you all right?" I'm like, "I'm fine." Like, "You just seem a little angry." And I was like, "I'm sorry." And I don't really think that it's anger. I think it's more just focused and trying to make sure that I'm not forgetting things. And okay, this is where I tell you, I've had 5 brain surgeries and my brain doesn't work the same way that it used to. Parts of it have been removed, not large parts, but they're kind of crucial. You know, like if there's a brain in there to begin with, chances are you need most of it, all of it. And apparently doctors have figured out which parts they can take out and you can still live a normal life. So I'm pretty much the same that I was before my first brain surgery in 2005, but slightly different. And the one thing is, my memory is not as awesome as it used to be. And I compensate in really, I don't know, to me there are easy ways. Like sometimes I'll write things on the back of my hand. Sometimes, oh, by the way, I got the lightest shade of the Synchro Lift the Synchro Skin Radiant Lifting. All right, so I'm gonna use this. It is significantly lighter than I thought it was gonna be, but it still looks really beautiful. Oh, and I keep forgetting, I got myself like a little palette. So let me scrape this off onto my palette. It's a metal palette I got off of Amazon because I find myself continually needing more product than I think I need, or I'm wanting to mix a little bit of, you know, liquid this with liquid that. And it's easier to do it on a palette than on the back of my hand, because if it's on my hand, I inevitably get it on my clothes, and I'm trying to not do that. With eye brain surgeries, I feel like part of my personality is slightly different. I feel like my verbal skills have been slightly diminished and decreased. I don't remember words or recall words as easily as I used to. I come up blank frequently, and at the end of the day, I'm super tired, and then it's just like a bunch of non sequiturs. On top of that, my memory is not what it used to be. I used to have a really good memory, and I know memory is one of those things that you use it and it gets better. And mine is definitely better than it was after my last serious round. I had surgery in 2020 for my brain, but my last real serious round of surgeries was in 2017 when they took out another portion of my brain. And that was the one that was the hardest for me. The first one in 2005 was just, the recovery was different, but in 2017 when they took out a portion of my brain, it was like, a lot of things were different. My husband noticed a personality difference after my first surgery in 2005. I noticed some verbal and cognitive problems after 2017. And I don't know if I'm just like, the smallest things don't even register anymore, but I don't feel like I had any deficits after 2020. And so the way that I compensate with my loss of memory, I'll write things on the back of my hand. I'm forever putting stuff in my phone like a reminder. I've been trying to explain the same thing for the last, I don't know how many minutes, and it's a little confusing. And I don't know how to explain it, because it really only matters to me and people I live with, but we're chatting about it, so I'll tell you. Give me a second. I have a little cup of coffee, and then hopefully it'll help me focus, and we'll get back on track. After pouncing in the Shiseido, which I think looks really good. I know people are gonna say, it's too light. I would rather it be just a hair too light than too dark. Too dark, and then I end up struggling, you know, with it not matching down here. And I feel like just a touch of bronzer and we'll be fine. It is a little lighter than I would like. I also put on the Beauty Pie, what is this? Everyday Great Skin Concealer. I have been enjoying this. All right, so what I've been trying to explain, and there's still that cat hair, for pity's sake. Oh, okay, I'm just gonna ignore it. In 2005, I had my first brain surgery, and one of the complications was I ended up with a headache that never went away. I didn't have the headache before. After that, the anatomy changed, and I had a constant headache 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for years. from 2005 until 2017. And then in 2017, I had corrective surgery, hoping to get rid of the headache that I had. And I had complications and I had an infection and I was in the neuro ICU for 7 days, in the hospital for 9 days, had 3 surgeries. It was just really long and involved. It was really bad. And after that, after everything resolved and I was out of the hospital and I'd recovered, my headaches were gone. And they were gone for, I would say, 5 or 6 months. And then it started coming back like 3 or 4 days a month. And then later it was 1 or 2 days a week. And by mid 2019, I woke up one morning and my head was hurting, and it has been hurting ever since. Pre-surgeries in 2017, the pain was like an 8 out of 10 daily, all the time. And you get really fatigued being at that level of pain. And then after my surgeries in 2017, where I had a bit of a break, and I don't know if it was that year and a half of not having constant headaches that my body was able to kind of like repair, or when it started coming back, I'm like, I know this, I'm familiar with this. Maybe I've been doing it for so long. It didn't hurt as much. I don't know. But I'll tell you, it's not that 8 out of 10 that it used to be. It's about a 6 out of 10. And then, you know, as the day progresses, if I get less sleep, if I'm under a lot of stress, my headache will increase. And then I take a nap or I go to sleep for the night and I wake up the next morning and it's decreased. So my headache's constantly fluctuating. It's a baseline 6 out of 10. All right, long story short is I reminded my family of that at the dinner table last night. And I said, look, because I deal with chronic pain and I'm taking on part-time work, it just seems like 3 days a week is not going to be that big a deal. It is going to be a big deal for me. So I'm going to need your help. And I'm going to need there to be times when I'm too tired to do something. If you see me sitting down, I'm not being lazy. I'm probably like this far from crying because it hurts so bad. So that's when you could move stuff from the washer to the dryer, or you could load the dishes, or you could make the salad for dinner and give me, 20 minutes to just, and we'll be okay. And I said, and I'll be fine. I said, but I am going to need more help. And I said, and it would be easiest for me if I didn't have to ask for it. And my family, they're the best. My husband's amazing. My kids are so helpful, very respectful, and they all worry so much about me. I just know that it's not going to be as stressful as I think it is, but I'm planning for kind of like total world change. Our world is going to change big time. And it seems weird that working 3 days a week is going to do that, but I think it's quite possible. By the way, I saw this at Marshall's the other day and I had to have it. My husband is a terrible punter, and he's taught my children to pun, and I don't forgive him for it. But when I saw this, it made me laugh. And so when I brought it home, he was like, oh, you're the one who doesn't like puns and you don't care at all. And I was like, no, I don't. I have been back in love with this Pat McGrath under eye setting powder. I know it's very expensive. It's $30. And I'm like, would I be willing to get another one when this one, ends? Because I'm at the point now where it's flat and it's starting to get a divot in the middle. And it started out completely domed. And it is like frighteningly white, but I actually really like this powder. And I feel like it does a good job. And I use it mostly under the eyes. And today, since I'm really not going to be setting the rest of my face, I'm just going to use it here so that whatever I have doesn't end up in my large expression lines here. My under eyes and my forehead are my big wrinkle, like things sink into the wrinkles there, sides of my nose, and here. And that's it. So on my little metal palette here, I'm going to use a little bit of this puff paint from Natasha Denona, the peachy shade. I forget what this shade is called, and I think it's funny that there is no actual name on the packaging. Isn't that weird? And I'm going to squeeze a little bit of this Beauty Pie Triple Beauty Luminizing Wand into it. So I've got this little concoction here. I'm going to mix it up, and I'm going to use this as glowy blush today. I don't know that I'll need bronzer or highlight, but I reserve the right to change my mind. I always do. I feel like I need some eyebrows. I've been desperately trying to finish up this Precisely My Brow from Benefit. I had it in, I think, my beauty bin for February, and I have it in here for this month. And you know what's funny is the more I'm trying to finish it up, the more I'm like, this is a really good pencil. I don't know if the shade is ideal for me. This was the shade. I've had this specific pencil for a long time. It takes me a while to work through brow products. I don't know why that is, especially when my eyebrows come out looking like little fuzzy brown caterpillars. Like, I do use more product than I probably should. But this had been sitting in my drawer for a long time, and I finally pulled it out during my declutter. I'm like, you know, this is actually good. I feel like the shade that I'm using now, I'm using shade 3, is probably a little too warm for me. I might do better with something that's a little ashier. I'm going to throw a little bit of the Beauty Pie Arch-Ology Sculpting Brow Gel in here. This is the shade Perfect Brown. It's a little bit darker and ashier, and I feel like it helps to balance out the lighter, like the difference between this and over here. You can see more of the warmth here. I feel like this helps to tone down that pencil that's not quite the right shade. And I always back comb to make sure I'm getting product on the back sides of the hairs on my brows, and it helps to build kind of volume and texture. And then I just go through and kind of place them where I want them. I have not used this in a while, and I mean to, so I'm just going to do a real easy, probably 2, maybe 3 shadow look with this. I'm going to start with kind of like a light warm brown, and I don't have my eyelid primed. I never do when I use Sydney Grace shadows. I just feel kind of like I don't have to. Isn't that lazy of me? Oh, so lazy. I would love to know how you're doing, what you're up to. What your March looks like. Mine is always really busy because both my girls' birthdays are in March, and my oldest, the time I'm recording this, we haven't hit birthdays yet, but my oldest has decided, she's like, I don't want to have friends over. I don't want to go any place. I just want to be with you guys. And that's the one thing the last 2 years that has been like the silver lining, that we enjoy spending time together so much, and we have such a good time doing it, that my oldest, who's very much a homebody and an introvert and kind of a quiet person, her happy, safe place is on the couch between me and her dad and her sister on the end, and we're all watching a show together and just like, you know, snuggled up. And that's all she wants to do for her birthday. She wants to chill out. She wants like special foods. She wants pastries in the morning. She wants her favorite sandwich for lunch. And then she wants steak for dinner. And she's like, and I just want to be home with everybody that I love. And I was like, do you want to invite any friends over? She's like, no, just you guys. And I was like, oh. So, and I've been trying to get my youngest, who's going to be 12, to nail down like what she wants to do. And she's got like all of these grandiose ideas. Like, we're going to go here, we're going to go there, and you're going to take me out to lunch with all of my like 50 friends. And I'm like, wait, how many? So we're trying to dial down the youngest and encourage our oldest to just like dream a little bigger. But you know, as long as they're happy, I suppose that's what's important. Oh, I love the metallics from this palette. Well, for all Sydney Grace, metallics are so good. Their pressed pigment formula is unlike any other. Beautiful. I love it so much. I'm going to throw on a little bit of the liner that I picked up recently from Beauty Pie and some Pick Me Up mascara from M, and I'll be right back. I'm trying to decide if I'm going to line my lips or just throw on some lipstick. And if I throw on some lipstick, it's gonna kind of, by the end of the day, be everywhere, and I have to wear something a little bit sheer. If I wanna wear something bold, I need me a lipstick, and I'm wondering, do I want something bold? Do I want a red lipstick? Do I want just a sheer gloss? I don't know. I'm gonna throw on some of the Charlotte Tilbury lip liner. This is the Lip Cheat in Pillow Talk. And then I'm gonna throw on the Pat McGrath lip gloss in the shade Earth Angel. This way I can throw this in my purse and take it with me today. This lip gloss formula from Pat McGrath, I don't know, maybe it's just this shade, is really remarkable to me, because most of the lip glosses that have like this shimmery look to them, I can always feel the texture on my lips. And this one, I can't. Maybe like a half a percent of grit. You know, out of 10, this is like 0.5. I can maybe, am I feeling it, or is it just my lips that are a little bit flaky? I don't know. I can't feel it, because there's been a lot of other ones. There have been drugstore brands. I remember even trying one from Too Faced that had a lot of, you know, glitter suspended in it, and it was like really like gritty, like sandy, like one of the Jouer ones. I was just like, I can't. And that's one of the things. I want a lip product that feels comfortable, that feels nourishing. And sometimes those gritty particles that get left behind when all of the oils or whatever is made up of the gloss kind of sinks into your skin, you're left with that texture on the top and you add another layer, then it just gets sandier as the day goes by. This is really beautiful. It doesn't do that. I actually really like it a lot. I would love to know what your month has been like. Like, what have you been up to? What's new and exciting? Or whether if it's just been the same and it's been very even keel. I love an even keel month when things don't get like thrown up in the air and they come down, they land where they fall, and then you got to deal with it. So let me know what you've been up to, if it's smooth sailing for you or whether you've had like fruit basket upset. Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching today. Have an incredible day, and I will see you again soon.